I don't want a lot, just a well-worn place to live.
In the dim back streets of Alaska, I sense the quiet desperation where fragile hope clashes with deep heartbreak. They call this place the last frontier, a land once alive with promise, thriving industries, and the fierce spirit of the American dream, now shrouded in silent suffering. In 2025, over 2,686 weary souls across Alaska endured nights without shelter.
Welcome to Homeless U.S. News.
But these aren't cold figures. They're real hearts pulsing with... This isn't just homelessness. It's Alaska's aching core, craving empathy before shadows engulf it. What hides in the grip of negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit winters, where blizzards ravage spirits and vast tundras become icy cages of sorrow? The soul-crushing isolation of 65 sunless polar nights grips lives tightly. Shockingly, makeshift camps scar this wilderness, shattering survival myths as soaring costs silence desperate pleas. In Homeless Us News, we reveal these raw truths. Can you feel the pain in every trembling breath? Overview of homelessness in Alaska. Alaska's homelessness crisis isn't just measured in numbers, it's felt in the biting wind, the endless snow, and the silence of isolation. In a land of breathtaking glaciers and untouched wilderness, thousands fight for survival each night against forces far beyond their control. With fewer than 750,000 people scattered across a territory twice the size of Texas, Alaska's scale turns every act of homelessness into a lonely struggle. Where most states rely on connected cities and roads, here, entire communities can vanish into white horizons, leaving those without shelter to battle the cold alone. Anchorage, the state's urban heart, shelters nearly half of all who are homeless. In 2025, around 3,000 people lived without stable housing, some in crowded shelters, others in tents along frozen creeks or wooded trails where temperatures drop well below zero. But beyond the city, the crisis takes a quieter form. In small towns like Bethel, Nome, and Dillingham, people crowd into single rooms or abandoned cabins, invisible to official counts. Many Alaska Native families share their homes with relatives to prevent loved ones from sleeping outside, a gesture of resilience that hides the true scale of displacement. Each face in this frozen story carries its own version of loss. A lost job, a health bill too high to pay, a broken home with nowhere to return. Alaska's homeless endure not just the elements, but the distance, the silence, and the feeling of being unseen. Have you ever imagined what it would take to survive a night in the Alaskan winter without a roof? If these stories move you, share your thoughts below and subscribe to Homeless U.S. News. Causes of homelessness. Across Alaska's icy streets, homelessness takes on a brutal shape. The cold bites deep, the nights stretch long, and the price of shelter rises beyond reach. In Anchorage and Fairbanks, where a small apartment can cost more than many can earn in a month, survival means constant movement, finding heat during the day, safety at night, and food wherever it can be found. In remote areas, where supplies come only by plane or boat, scarcity turns every setback into a crisis. Harsh weather and high costs aren't the only forces at play. Limited healthcare, addiction, and untreated mental health issues leave many without the support needed to stay afloat. The isolation of Alaska, both geographic and emotional, creates a silence where suffering often goes unseen. Indigenous families, carrying generations of displacement and loss, face even steeper challenges as cultural ties weaken and housing aid remains scarce. Life in harsh, outdoor weather. In Alaska, winter doesn't forgive. The air feels like knives, and the snow never stops falling. For those without shelter, every sunrise brings another round of quiet suffering. The cold is not just a temperature, It's a constant weight pressing on bones, draining strength, testing spirit. When the wind sweeps through Anchorage at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it strips away warmth, sound, and sometimes even the will to keep going. Studies show that unhoused Alaskans are over 8 times more likely to endure frostbite or hypothermia than anyone indoors, a number that barely captures the reality of those long, frozen nights. The streets turn into glass, and time stretches in silence. Hands split open from the cold, shoes harden like stone, and hunger mixes with exhaustion until they feel the same. People walk not to go anywhere, but to stay alive, to keep the blood from turning still. The dark hours blur into one endless night, where each breath is a reminder of both pain and persistence.
I don't want a lot, just a well-worn place to live. Some cardboard down and sleep there. It's good as long as it don't rain.
Their suffering, their endurance, their fight to survive, the impossible deserve to be seen, remembered, and spoken aloud before the cold takes their names away. Non-profit organizations assisting the homeless. In Alaska's frozen expanse, compassion travels farther than any road. Through blizzards and silence, countless nonprofit workers move from shelter to shelter, bringing food, blankets, and hope to those left behind. Their mission is more than charity. It's survival with dignity. Each face they meet tells a story of loss, resilience, and the quiet fight to start again. The Anchorage Coalition to End Homelessness leads the charge, linking data with humanity, tracking names, not just numbers, to make sure no one disappears in the system. Rural CAP reaches deep into villages that few ever see, landing planes on icy airstrips to deliver warmth, training, and second chances. Covenant House, Alaska, opens its doors to the youth who have nowhere else to go, giving them safety, education, and the belief that their story isn't over yet. At the Brother Francis shelter in Anchorage, volunteers greet weary souls with hot meals and kindness that cuts through the cold. In Juneau, United Way and YWCA Alaska stand by women rebuilding their lives, while the Anchorage Gospel Rescue Mission helps those battling addiction rediscover self-worth and faith. Together, these organizations form a human lifeline stretching across the tundra, proof that compassion still thrives, even where winter never seems to end. If these stories move you, don't let them fade into the noise. Hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts below, and stay with us on Homelessness News. Your voice, your attention, your click, it all matters. Because when we listen together, we make sure no one faces the cold alone. The shadow of fentanyl across Alaska.
And it blew my mind. And the needles, I don't know why they called them works. I was like, what does works mean? So I heard works.
In Alaska's endless cold, the fight for survival has taken a darker and more desperate turn. On the icy streets of Anchorage, where the air itself burns the lungs and the night seems never ending, fentanyl has become a quiet killer hiding behind the masks of addiction and despair. For many living without shelter, the drug offers a brief escape from hunger, frost, and loneliness. A few fleeting moments of warmth in a world that has long turned its back. But those moments often end in silence. Every overdose on these frozen streets tells a story of pain buried beneath the snow. In remote towns like Bethel, Nome, and Fairbanks, the crisis stretches far beyond the reach of help. Shelters overflow, and medical facilities are scarce, sometimes days away. The vast distances and brutal weather isolate those most in need, trapping them in a cycle where every day is a battle to stay alive. Many sleep under bridges or in makeshift tents along frozen rivers, their breath visible in the thin air as they chase one more night of survival. When the mercury drops below zero, the line between sleep and death blurs. Many never see the sunrise again. What makes it most haunting is how invisible it all feels. Families often don't know where their loved ones are. Some vanish into the snow, their names lost in reports that few will ever read. In the world's most beautiful wilderness, tragedy hides in plain sight, and the cold keeps its secrets well. This is Homelessness News, where we uncover the human faces behind America's forgotten crises. If these voices move you, subscribe to our channel, share your thoughts in the comments, and help us bring light to those struggling in the darkest corners of the nation. Health warnings for the homeless. In Alaska's frozen wilderness, life without shelter becomes a constant battle against the elements. When temperatures drop below zero and the wind bites through layers of thin clothing, every night feels like a test of survival. Hospitals in Anchorage see frostbite cases rise each winter, sometimes treating people who arrive with hands too cold to feel or feet too damaged to save. Out in the rural north, far from paved roads and clinics, many endure the cold in silence, waiting for help that might never come. But physical pain is only part of the struggle. In places like Utqiagvik, where the sun disappears for nearly 2 months, darkness seeps deep into the mind. Depression grows quietly, and loneliness takes hold. Some turn to alcohol or fentanyl just to forget the cold for a moment. Yet the escape is short-lived. Many never wake up. By early 2025, Alaska had recorded more than 350 opioid-related deaths, and countless others remain uncounted in remote villages. Behind every statistic lies a name, a face, and a story that deserved warmth, not frost and isolation. Still, hope flickers. Volunteers drive through the snow with blankets, soup, and first aid kits, checking on those who can't reach shelters. Their efforts may not end the crisis, but they prove that compassion can exist even in the harshest places on Earth. These are the quiet heroes who remind us that humanity shines brightest in the cold. Have you ever wondered how it feels to fight the cold alone, night after night? Share your thoughts below and tell us what you believe could make a real difference. Don't forget to subscribe to Homelessness News to follow more true stories that reveal the hidden struggles and strength of people living on the edge of survival. Efforts to solve. In Alaska, hope often takes shape in the form of quiet determination. Across the frozen landscape, people refuse to give up on those left behind. In Anchorage, city leaders and volunteers work side by side to provide warmth and dignity to thousands living without a home. The Housing First initiative has helped many find permanent housing with supportive care, allowing them to rebuild their lives after years of struggle. More than 400 people recently moved into safe spaces during the brutal winter months, a small victory in a fight that feels endless. But with over 3,000 still waiting for shelter, the challenge remains immense and deeply human. Farther north, in Fairbanks, where temperatures plunge to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit, compassion travels through snow-covered streets. Tribal organizations and local nonprofits join forces to protect families at risk, offering warm meals, training, and community support. In coastal towns like Nome and Bethel, new modular homes are being tested to withstand melting permafrost and rising seas, proof that resilience can grow even in the harshest conditions. Each effort, no matter how small, becomes a spark of humanity in the long Alaskan night. Beyond the cities, outreach teams cross frozen rivers and snowy trails, to reach remote villages that planes visit only a few times a month. They bring not only food and medicine, but also something more powerful: connection. When someone feels seen, even for a moment, survival turns into strength. At Homelessness News, we believe that change begins with awareness. What do you think it takes to truly end homelessness in a place as unforgiving as Alaska? Leave your thoughts in the comments, share this story, and subscribe to our channel, because your voice helps bring light to the people living in the shadows of America's coldest frontier. Conclusion. In the far reaches of America's north, Alaska stands as both breathtaking and unforgiving. Behind its glittering snowfields and towering peaks lies a quieter, harsher truth. People struggling to survive where the land itself can turn deadly. Each of the 2,686 homeless Alaskans recorded in 2024 is more than a number. Each is a person facing freezing winds, long nights, and the invisible weight of isolation. Their stories are not defined by failure, but by endurance, the strength it takes to rise again after everything has been stripped away. When temperatures fall below zero, and daylight lasts only a few hours, hope becomes the most valuable form of shelter. Yet, even in that darkness, there are sparks of humanity that refuse to die. In Anchorage, volunteers hand out food and blankets until their own fingers go numb. In Bethel, families share what little they have to keep a neighbor warm. In Nome, tribal elders open community centers to those with nowhere else to go. These small acts of kindness are proof that compassion can thrive even in the coldest corners of the world. Homelessness in Alaska is not just a crisis of poverty, it is a story of distance, culture, and resilience. It shows how far people will go to protect one another, even when resources run dry. Every meal served, every word of comfort, every door left unlocked on a frozen night reminds us that empathy still has power. That is what Homeless US News is about. Not pity, but understanding. It's about shining a light on the forgotten and honoring the courage it takes to survive unseen. Because when we truly see people, we can no longer look away. If this story touched you, take a moment to reflect. What does home mean to you, and how can we make sure everyone has one? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to Homeless US News so that these voices and the truths they carry are never lost in the cold.